Hello everyone, ICNL Trades here, and today we have a different style video. Today we have a knowledge-based video, which is, I think the best kind of video. So let's get started with it. So what I want to discuss in this video is what gear you're going to need to get started trading, where to find information like economic reports, as well as what candlesticks mean and candlestick patterns. I also want to discuss I call it the lab, but the whole process of trading and just like what you're going to need to really just get started with a full live account. Discipline, just overall discipline on mindset for traders, because this isn't as fun in games as it seems sometimes. It can be when you're making money, but there's a lot of stuff here that needs to be talked about that doesn't really get talked about. So these are my topics for the video, so let's get started with it. Starting off with what gear you're going to need, I always suggest to have a dual setup, and when I say dual setup, I mean a computer and a phone, somewhere where you can watch the charts and somewhere where you can enter the markets. Watch the charts, enter the markets. So, for example, just give me 1 second while I pull it up. I don't watch the charts here. No. I buy the contracts here, if that makes sense. Okay, I watch the charts here. So for example, let's go to Webull. So I would be watching the charts here and I'll be getting ready to buy here. So if I wanted to get puts, how I did on, I think, Thursday, I would be looking on, I believe, this side. I'd be looking on this side, getting ready to buy. I wouldn't watch the charts. I don't watch the charts here. So that's the power of a dual setup. You can do both on one system, but I just feel like it's too busy and you don't get enough separation of the two entities, which is the charts and the entry and exits. So I highly recommend getting a dual system of some sort, but it is very possible to do it just on the phone only or on a computer only. So that's kind of what gear you're going to need to get started trading. I just lied to you. So you're also going to want to have a good trading platform. I like to use Webull. I'm not sponsored by any means or anything like that, but it's just what I've started with and have grown with. So for now, it's Webull. You can use stuff like TradingView and stuff like that, but I'm a Webull loyalist, like I just said. You want to download this, and then you'll have the charts on your system. And then if you are just using your phone only, you want to download it on the App Store, and then you'll have exactly this but on your phone, which is great. Next, what I want to talk about is where to find knowledge. Knowledge is one of the biggest things in trading. It's almost everything. It's about 20% of the game is your knowledge. So, and what you're saying only 20%? That doesn't seem equal, because it's not. And we'll get to the rest of the pie later on. But 20% is your knowledge on the charts, and where to find it is the good old books. If you don't like reading, then you don't like trading. If you don't like reading, you probably won't like trading. So let me point you in the right direction. This is the book I read to get started trading. It's called The Candlestick Bible. It will go over what a candlestick is in the first place. The close, the open, the highs, the lows. It'll also go over various different patterns for you to learn and write down and draw and remember, like the back of your hand. Like remember. The key to trading is remembering and knowing what you remember. But this book will point in that right direction. It'll go over uptrends, ranging markets, downtrends, supply, demand. So I highly suggest reading this book, treating it like a class. Write down anything you don't know and don't understand. Write it down. And if you don't feel like you're going to read that part later on, then don't write it down. Don't waste your time. Keep going. But write down what you just don't know. I didn't know anything entering trading, so I basically wrote down the whole book. So that's how serious I was about it. So write down everything that you just don't know. Next, I also want to talk about, which I really wish I had early on in trading, is where to find economic news. Economic news will either be your best friend when trading or your worst enemy. This will either make you profitable or tank your account, because all this stuff, these different reports like CPI, PPI, FOMC minutes, jobs, all that stuff matters, and it all happens behind like not behind closed doors, but behind the scenes. If you're not keeping track with the news and global economics and stuff like that, you will lose in the markets every single time, I feel like. But what I use for that is I use Market Watch. It's free. They'll give you the economic calendar for the week, which you just kind of go over on Sunday and make sure, prep for the week and know what you're going to, what days you're going to trade and what days you're not going to trade, is basically that. And when this man's speaking right here, Jerome Powell, you can either make a lot of money or lose all your profits for the day. But these are the two places to find your information. This is where you're really gonna be doing all your learning and just kind of, that's the grind. That's pen and paper right there. This is for when you're getting ready, economic stuff. And then, you can also watch other YouTube videos. YouTube videos always help. It doesn't hurt to gain more knowledge elsewhere. Next, I want to talk about is the actual lab and process itself. Hold up, let me check what I was going to say about this. I'm going to edit this out. Okay. So after you learn about the candlesticks and the patterns, these little patterns right there, I don't know why I pointed, like y'all can see where I'm pointing, but these patterns right here, and also right here, all these patterns in candlesticks, you are going to want to have a paper trading account or a demo account. Paper trading or demo is basically a way you can trade with fake money on the live markets, so you can kind of see if what you've learned correlates to the real world. Are you profitable? Are you going down the right direction? Do you know what you're talking about? So I highly suggest paper trading. Webull did have a paper trading thing for the phone, but they just removed it recently in their recent update, which pissed me off, because even professionals go back and paper trade. I'll go back and paper trade, and I'm not a professional, so I don't know why I just said that. But even I go back and paper trade and just practice and practice and practice. But paper trade, get a demo account going, and just if your platform doesn't have it, simply just make mocks as the day goes on. We're not in live markets right now, but if this was live and I thought maybe this was gonna go long, I would maybe just draw this out right here and be like, okay, well, as this trade plays out, I want to see if this is actually gonna work with my analysis that I had for whatever I did to even get to this point. So, and then, oh shoot, okay, that's a mock. It's not, you didn't get to do it with paper trading itself, but you still put your ideas on paper somewhere to give it a try, if that makes sense. So that's going to be the whole lab. Oops, not the right part. The whole lab is the paper trading and the back testing and the trial. So don't give up here, because this is where a lot of people will be like, oh shoot, well, I feel like I haven't learned anything. Maybe I should just stop. No, why would you stop? You just started. Like, that's how I was when I got to this part, when I was like actually hitting the paper trading. When I lost my first time, I was like, okay, maybe I didn't really learn anything. Maybe I wasn't taking myself seriously, and I just kept going though. I kept going. But regardless, not about me, about y'all, about you. Yeah, get on a demo account, get on paper trading, whatever it may be. Even do mocks, not even either or. Just use fake money, practice what you've learned so far, and put it on the markets. Practice is the lab. Next I want to talk about is discipline. Discipline's a big thing in trading. This is the other 80% of the pie that I was talking about. This is everything. It's your mindset. It's how you operate. It's what you do in the morning. It's what you do after. It's what you do during. It's all of it. It is your discipline. Basically, develop a strategy. If you're gonna trade, develop a strategy. How you live your life is how you trade. So if you live your life in a very sloppy manner, a very unproductive manner, a very unmotivational manner, when you get to those charts, you will bring all of that to the charts. And when you bring all that to the charts, you will have very bad results. And when you have those bad results, it will add on. It will add on. You'll start to get mad at yourself, get mad at people, get mad at the system, get mad at what you've learned, get mad at knowledge. Like, even get mad at knowledge. Like, you're getting mad at books because they didn't tell you the right thing. They told you everything. So having a strategy, like for example, if you want to use my strategy, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I like to meditate and get ready in that facet of life. Just, meditate, pray, and then I will do my what's it called? I'm drawing a blank right now. Sorry. I look at the news, which for me is right here. I just tap this button. I go to my following. I'll even tap it twice to really just pull it up. But I go here and look at the news during the pre-market. I don't even look at charts. The first thing I do when I wake up is not even going to the charts. I'm going to the news to see what's going on. Because if you don't know this, then how are you going to know what's going on here? Right here, sorry. If you don't know what's going on here, you won't know what's going on here. Simple. But that also comes with discipline. It's about checking every morning. It's about having that schedule. It's about taking one trade only. It's about being disciplined. I can't stress that enough. I don't know why I tapped Copilot, but I can't stress that enough. It's about being disciplined. It is your everything when it comes to trading. It is 80% of the bag. The rest of the 20%, the actual trading part and learning all this part, is fairly easy. Like, you should learn all this stuff within like the first 2 months. Honestly, the first 2 months. It took me a year, but like looking back, it should take you about like 2 to 3 months, honestly, to really get like base chart analysis and information and knowledge down, and then from there, it's all the rest is building a good strategy and being disciplined and being diligent, because that's all that matters. That's the difference between being profitable and being unprofitable. And I know every guru and everyone says it, but like, even me, like, I'm no one to even be teaching y'all, I feel like sometimes, but I'm just trying to guide you on my path and trying to tell you what I've been learning as I've been doing it, if you want to go down the same path. But it is discipline. It starts there. I missed out early on learning about, just being disciplined, so I'm now catching back up on it and learning it myself sometimes. But yeah, these are really the four key things to trading. It is your equipment, is the base part of it. Your equipment, what gear you have. Are you using a phone? Are you using a phone and computer combo? Are you using an iPad phone combo? Using an iPad computer combo? Doesn't matter. Just as long as you have some gear to trade on. Where to find your knowledge. Like I said, that will be your Candlestick Bible and your economic calendar. And for the gear, you're also going to want your Webull, your desktop, your charts. And then lastly is the discipline, which I can't teach you that. I could tell you about it, but I can't teach it. And that is all in your strategy, in yourself, and how you carry yourself as a human being. And however you carry yourself as a human being will correlate to how you trade. Simple as that. Other than that, I really do hope y'all enjoyed this video. I've been wanting to make it for a while, but peace. I see now. Out.